Help me spread the word and join me on my mission of motivating other moms by sharing the video. Thank you for watching.
So I used to cook slowly, slowly. People used to appreciate, my friends used to appreciate that. Oh, it's a good, you should start a restaurant. Just jokingly, they would say that.
From the Garden State, New Jersey, from one mom to another, it's time for Mom's Talk. Here's Avani.
Welcome, Supermoms, to Mom's Talk. I am Avani, your show host, and our today's Supermom guest is joining us from New Jersey. She's one of the very few women chefs, the founder and owner of Mejwaani. Welcoming Supriya Sheth. Welcome, Supriya.
Hi, Avani. Thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to talk to you, talking to you.
Same here. We get to know so much about you through this conversation. So I'm super excited to learn a little more about you and your experiences.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start this, Supriya. How did you come to this country? When did you come here?
We came here in 2007 and we came on immigration.
Right.
So we came on green card.
Okay.
I started working. My husband was in IT, so he had his job. But slowly things changed, and we had little hardship in getting jobs. He started having some difficulty in getting new jobs, and this continued for almost 7 to 8 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was a long time. And then we jumped into the restaurant business. Actually, we had no clue that we would start this business. So we suddenly jumped into it, but we wanted to give it a try, and we had no choice. So we wanted it to make it a success.
And you have very well done it now. So
thank you.
Coming on immigration, Supriya, I know that is, there are a few people who come through immigration. There are a few people who come on a work visa, on a student visa. How do you think was it different for you having a green card, having that work permit? How was it different or easier for you to come here and settle down?
It was not that easy because we were in our 40s. But green card was easy because we had our family here. My husband's family is here since years, like 30 years, more than 30 plus years.
All right.
So coming into this country was not easy, but later, step by step, the challenges were a lot for us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a son who was 8-year-old, so he was in the age of growing, and then my husband was into IT, but hardware.
Okay.
So he had some challenges. He had some difficulties. Suddenly he started having some issues with the jobs, losing jobs. And then we had to take certain steps, which we did. And by God's grace, it worked very well. But lot of hardship, lot of sacrifice, lot of dedication. And we were ready to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the satisfaction which we give now to the people and what people get, that is amazing. That makes our day.
Lovely. So Mejwaani, it's a very interesting name. What's the meaning of Mejwaani?
Mejwaani is a very, very typical Maharashtrian name because it's basically a variety of vegetables, and it's like a feast. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a festival and if you go to somebody or somebody offers you, there would be a variety of food, including some vegetables, dessert, appetizer. So everything in one. The combination of everything, that is called Mejwaani.
So is it a Mumbaiker food? Is that how
yes,
I can call it?
Absolutely. Because actually I belong to one of the regions of Maharashtra, that is Konkan.
Right.
So we offer Malwani food. So Malwani food is basically, we specialize in Konkan food, one region of food. So my parents belong to that particular community. And that is what I wanted to bring it here, because that food is well known by Mumbaikars more than any other region. So, and they love the food. It's a mix of seafood and fish, chicken, and varieties of vegetables are there. And some typically desserts like modak and puran poli, which is very, very difficult to make, but relished by most of them.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I remember thali peat. Is that something that we can get
Exactly.
to?
So we have lot of varieties like misal pav and vada pav from Mumbai. Then we have zunka bhakri, which is very, very popular. Then we have sabudana vada. So we have
Lovely.
aloo. So you
See,
should.
here is the thing, it's very authentic food. And what I like about your restaurant is that, it's a very unique platter that you serve, and it's very niche. A lot of people sometimes they kind of bhool jate hain wo taste, wo khana apni jagah ka. So this is something that keeps them rooted. That's how I put it.
Exactly. Because, and the special thing is, I have all the spices coming from India, coming from Konkan, from my native. So that makes it more special. And also when, people who are 60s and who have come years back, so when they come and they say that it reminds me of my mother or my parents, so that is a really wonderful feeling.
Lovely, lovely. तो सुप्रिया, आपको बचपन से खाना बनाने का शौक था? Were you one of those little girls who would stay next to mom in the kitchen? How was it like?
Actually, truly speaking, I was the youngest in the family, so I never cooked till my age of 24.
Oh, really?
Never. But I used to be there, used to love, because my mom was a housewife. So she used to be in the kitchen. She used to make all authentic things, occasionally whenever it was needed. And I used to love to see that. But I never ever cooked till I was married. Then once I got married to a different religion, community again. So Gujarati. So they did not appreciate my kind of food because it is lot of coconut and they were not used to that. So it was tough for me to judge that whether it's what I'm doing is or cooking is really authentic or no. But people definitely, when they tried my food, they loved it.
So you spoke about hardships, Supriya. आपने बताया it wasn't easy for you. आपके husband की भी job थी, and then you also did something. If I'm not wrong. ये जो restaurant खोलने का जो thought है, because sometimes when we are working at that time we don't think too much about starting our own business. ये जो restaurant खोलने का जो आपका decision था, वो कैसे हुआ? You told me you weren't too much into cooking. 24 years तक आपने cooking नहीं करी. So how did that happen?
Actually, first thing is when we came to this country, I was cooking at home. I used to love cooking at home rather than, going outside and eating, because we never got that taste here anytime. So I used to cook slowly. People used to appreciate, my friends used to appreciate that. Oh, it's you should start a restaurant. Just jokingly, they would say that. But that was not a good idea, I thought. But slowly, when I started making for my friends or small families, they appreciated. They said you should go for it. But still it took more than a year for me to back and forth thing whether I should really go for it, because it was a big thing for us, because we had difficult times. At the same time, we did not want that failure because we had no much choices. If you have a green card and you want to start something suddenly for some reason, then this was the quicker business, like quicker money making business, and for survival also it was best, and provided you are ready to work hard. Because that time when we jumped into this, we did not have money for investment. So we used to do everything. Me and my husband, we run a small family business. So every one of us used to, my son, even he was younger, he used to help us out. And we did this because we did not have much to invest in chefs. So it was hard, but it worked well initially when we thought that this, and it was a unique food. So we had somewhere in our mind that this will work.
Since you have been running this restaurant for a long time now. What are some of the challenges that you faced in the food industry?
Time, first thing is you cannot, it's food, so you cannot cook ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
You have a limited time, so you should be very quick. You should be very quick, and again, at the same time, it has to be flavorful. So that is something you should have a knack of it, that cooking in short time, but still flavorful and with less of oil, because our is home style, it's not very restaurant kind of a thing. So that creamy food, or we definitely, if we make palak paneer, or we have to add that, because that would be an important ingredient for that. But in our food, it's not a must. So rich ingredients doesn't go in our home style food. So how to make it flavorful, that was a big challenge. How to make within that shorter time, because mostly what used to happen in the morning, most of the people would need their food either at their doorstep with delivery or for pickup by 11, because guests start coming and then they want to start their food at 12 noon. So we had to start at 7, 6, 5, depending on the number of orders, and it has to come out on the table, packed everything, and then go in the hands of the customers. So time was a big challenge. Then ingredients also, most of my main ingredients come from India. So sometimes it used to get stuck for some or the other reason in transit. So that was also a little bit challenging. But most of the things I make fresh. I trained my head chef to do that. So few things, not too many, but few things were challenging. Otherwise, here in this country, everything is very easily available. So you serve in a particular tray, disposable trays and all. So it's not a big of a challenge. It's good. So many things are easily available here, which makes your work much easier.
So catering, as you said, cater आप करते थे, तो उसमें तो आपको time मिल जाता है कि you know a certain time a person is coming to pick up. So how is running a restaurant different than catering? I mean, इसमें तो आपने बताया जैसे ये challenges हैं, but anything else that you think is different between the two, and how did you tackle that?
Catering is definitely easier than, for the dining who come, because catering, ahead of time what ingredients would go, when it will be cooked, what will be cooked by which person, like everything was decided. But when the dining, initially when I was alone and I was the head chef and I used to work with the helpers, that time it was really difficult for me, because I did not have knowledge of how to serve 4 people at one time or 4 tables at one time, because they would order anything. So that preparation, prep work and everything used to be, but still it was time consuming. Like it used to take time initially. So it comes with the experience. The more
कैसे करते हैं आप? You're right. When we go to the restaurant, there's so many people on different tables, and you said it. Everybody, हर कोई कुछ अलग order करता है. But what goes on behind the doors, back in the kitchen? किस तरीके से करते हैं आप? How do you do it?
Multitasking is needed for that, and you get used to it. As the time goes, you get used to it. But there are so many stoves available, multiple things are there, but still it's challenging, because, to come the food has to come out at a particular time. But you need many people for help. You should have a good staff. You should have good amount of people working for specific roles. There are different roles given to different people. But when I was there initially, and I had very least knowledge about how to serve, because that is a different knack and challenge altogether. That coming on to the plate at the right time, that was little challenging, of course. It was tough, but I learned slowly that fear in my mind, and that pressure has to be there. When the pressure is there, when you get scared of, how will you do, and you have to do it. That is the right time you start doing it. But if you are fearless, or if you are like jo hoga dekha jayega, it is not going to work. You have to be on your toes all the time.
Absolutely. Now we know what goes on in that kitchen when we are going in the restaurant. अब अगर dishes थोड़ी late भी आई तभी भी ये बात जरूर याद आएगी कि पीछे क्या हो रहा है.
And we have some fresh, mostly we make fresh. Like whatever snack items comes outside, like batata vada hai ya samosa, it's not refried. It's one time fried. So it takes time, definitely. All that means it's not that you order and it has to come there. Sometimes clients are very upset about you. Think, "Arey, batata vada to hai. It should be ready in 5 minutes." I said, no, it's not that way. It takes time. See, सिर्फ आपके सामने खाना रखना is not our intention. To serve you good and as fresh as it can be, it's better.
So अब देर हुई तो समझ लो कि you're getting fresh food. It's a good thing अगर थोड़ी देर हुई तो.
And that is what people have realizing now. So they have no complaints. They are so happy. Like if a new client comes and he's not used to waiting for, for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So he gets upset. And as soon as the food comes on the table, all his anger and, that will calm down and he will be so happy and say, no. Now I understand why you took time.
आप उन लोगों को क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो जिस स्टेज पर, जिस सिचुएशन में आप इतने सालों पहले थे when you came over here और आपने decide किया, you told me that there wasn't an option, we just had to do this. Exactly. Being in that situation, coming out strong and successful, tackling those kind of difficult situations, आप उन लोगों को क्या कहना चाहेंगे जो abhi at present they are living in that kind of a situation? They have just moved from their country to a different country. What would you like to say to them?
Actually, we were one of the rare families because we were away from our family. We had the one who had sponsored us were not there in this country. Like my in-laws, they were not there. So we did not have that backup. So it was very rare in our case. But still, I would say that those, for women especially, that if they have something in mind or they want to follow their dreams, they should definitely go, and it is worth trying. And this country can give you so much. So many facilities are available here. It's not that difficult as it looks. But you have to step into it. If there are so many ladies, they want to do some small businesses like garment business or jewelry business, or some food business, definitely. I think I'm not the only one here. There are so many women in New Jersey who are having these food businesses. So they should follow their passion and dream and move forward, I think. So at least if they cannot do full time, at least part time, that keeps them going and, keeps them happy. So they should definitely not take a back step and do what they want to do.
Is that what your parents taught you when you were a child?
Definitely. Today, what I am is only because of them, because they were very hardworking. My father, he is 96. At age of 96, he does his own things. He is that kind of a person. Like he's not dependent on anybody, and he likes to do things even at this age. And he always used to inspire me. Like sometimes I used to be low and I used to call him and say that I feel so tired doing all these things in this business. And he would always encourage me and say, no, what will you do otherwise in that country? Yeah. Like, what will you do sitting at home? So it's okay if you... he literally, maybe it would not sound good, but he would always say that you are not going to die by working hard. That was literally those words he used to say.
But it's actually, when you think about it,
it sounds very, rude or harsh. But that is how he pushed us. Like he used to say that I have never heard anybody dying because of hard work. Like because he worked hard. And so you should always try your best, keep yourself pushing, keep, be lively, be happy. We are there for you. But you should do what you are doing, and he is very proud of you. Actually, I come from a very small family. My husband was, father was a government servant. My mom is a housewife. And we, three of us as siblings. And very, very simple, like we never remember we used to go out for food. For years, we never went to a restaurant to eat food. Everything was home cooked because, that budgetary issues were always there those days. Like everything you would have budget for everything. So my family was that kind of 3 children, their education. And so we never had that lavish life or, going out, no trips, no restaurants, no movies, nothing. But everything was made at home. We used to enjoy at home. And that is how we were, till the age of 20, 21, like when we grew up, we used to go with our friends, but not as a family too much into going out or enjoying out. But my mom used to cook everything and she was a very good cook. So maybe genes came into me and it worked well this time.
Supriya, you're a mother. You said your son was 8 years old when you had moved over here. What would be your message for mothers here?
Actually, it was hard for me with the son because he was just 8 and he also had to go through a lot of things with us. But that gave him a motivation, and that is why he's into this business now. He has joined us and he has shared so many things. He has lowered our burden now, being a son, because he realizes that how hardship and what my parents went through. And that is the reason he wants to continue with this business, and he wants to offer the kind of food we are offering for longer time, like much longer time. And he's a nice child. He wants to help his mother, parents. Maybe that is how, what I would say is, whenever any lady or as a mother, when a woman does something, she should get her children involved in what she is doing, so that the kids also realize how hard it is, how tough it is, or how easy it is, or what should be done. And my son has joined me. That is the only reason, because I used to get him involved with small things when I used to be busy. And I would say that is a good thing for kids to learn, whether it might help them in future or not. But to get involved when parents are doing something, it's a must.
Lovely, lovely, Supriya. It was such a lovely conversation we had. We learned a lot of things from you. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Avani.